Cousins Podcast. No, we're not doing that. Welcome to the Three Cousins Podcast, Season 1 of hopefully millions, Episode 1, Part 1.
I
guess Part 1, if we're gonna split it up. Welcome, thank you for tuning in. I'm Seth. I am an unemployed mass comm major who graduated. Depressingly, I'm like 2 weeks off from graduating a year ago. So the fact that I've only been at Target and a shitty marketing firm since then, sort of starting to set in. But I like video games. I like D&D. I like doing voice stuff and talking about bullshit. And I really, really like garlic and peanut butter, but not together. I never tried it together, but you never know. But who's next? Chomp at the bit.
Sure, I'll go next. I'm Derek. I'm his cousin, as is the other third cousin here of the Three Cousins Podcast.
Or the second.
Or, second
technically,
too.
Technically, you're the first.
You are the oldest.
Of the ones here.
You're older
of the
than
ones
both of us,
here,
yeah.
yes. This is true. I am working towards a physics degree. I have 2 courses left. Therefore, my interests, obviously, are science and technology. I also like video games. I especially like collecting things from video games that I don't play very much, such as a Zelda shield that's hanging on the wall.
A totally official Zelda shield.
And
We'll
your
add
master sword hiding somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
it's somewhere.
Your non-colored master sword that you bought from like Pakistan or some shit.
I don't know where it's from.
A mall. Did you get that at a mall in Tennessee?
That was
Were we all there
eBay.
for that? Oh, was that eBay?
Yeah, I bought that on eBay.
Oh, okay. I thought we got it at one of those knockoff Asian import stores in a mall in Tennessee or something. But I don't know. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. Third.
All right, last.
Chronologically.
And
of us. Chronologically, fourth.
I am the youngest of the ones here, and I guess, I am even younger with the other ones factored in.
One.
But with one
one older than us.
One older
There's
than
one.
us. He shall be unnamed for now.
Yes.
I am an underemployed. I will not say where I work because I do not want to mention them. I am underemployed. I have a degree.
It involves food and rhymes with snowshoery.
Yeah, you
store.
would never guess where it is. I went to SLU. I have a degree in business administration.
Oh, but he'll mention his school
I
to
will mention
brag,
them,
but he won't mention where he works.
But don't tell you.
I graduated from Lindenwood.
Oh, yes.
So suck on that.
Yeah, this is the great school of Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, we got trees.
Yeah.
Bitch. Got linden trees.
Linden trees.
Yeah, man.
I don't even know the kind of trees they have at SLU. They have like 2.
SLU
there's 2.
Dude, SLU trees are streetlights.
Insane.
You don't have trees.
They have rabbits in their campus.
That's not a tree.
No, I'm just telling you. Like, you would think that in the middle of St. Louis there wouldn't be rabbits.
Well, I mean, in St. Louis, if you have 2 trees, that's technically a forest.
That's a protected wildlife preserve.
Yes.
If you have 2 or more trees in one spot in St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean,
or even certain wooden street light posts.
And also,
considered habitats.
And also campus security announcements every night, basically.
Oh, God, we got so many
I would
of
say
those.
living on campus was kind of scary, but it was also pretty nice. But,
we didn't get them too much at Lynn, but when we got them, they were always like, some girl said she was molested in the library bathroom, which is in the basement of our library. And then 2 days later, it was like, she made it up. So never mind. And it's like, oh,
shit. It didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
It was
she
some
made
fake
it up.
news for you.
It was, fake news. Oh, we're talking about some fake news.
Yeah.
That's something we should talk about. Why the hell are we even sitting down here doing this? Like, why? What's the fuck?
Well, okay, so I guess...
Why?
So I'm the loser who reads news articles and shit like that almost all the time.
You poor savage youth.
I am a creature of politics now. I used to not be that way. I think my first.
We yearn for the days where he goes back in time.
Yeah. One day I will. Yeah, they hope for it, but
one day he'll be as jaded as the rest of us.
I mean, I'll just tell you shortly. My first beginnings into that was the 2008 election. It was right at the end of high school. And oh shit, I just dated myself. And
oh no, they'll know your age. They're gonna find you and kill you now.
Oh no.
Jeez.
So I was like, okay, what's this election? I can vote in it. So what's going on? So I actually started off like being a decently, sort of tepid supporter of John McCain. I was like, hey, he's he seems presidential, so I guess I'll vote for that guy. And
You bastard.
I know. And then I turned to me.
And then you read up on him.
He turned to the dark.
I read up on him.
Yeah,
and
he
then,
watched TV.
Right.
Then I became an Obama supporter.
He
so
watched
that
fake
That
news.
was me.
I was an Obama supporter.
Yeah.
I tend to stay as apolitical as possible, non-political. I don't even call myself a moderate, because even then you're labeling yourself.
Yeah,
I
you want to say like you're
Right.
I shit on
outside of it.
everyone equally. But if you have a good idea, I acknowledge it. If you have a bad idea, I acknowledge it. Any side, any party.
Do you think we have influenced each other in any way about that? Like, because you're apolitical and I'm clearly political, so do you think that we've in any way sort of pushed ourselves in that direction?
We subconsciously sought the yin and yang
yeah, like
of
something like
politics.
that. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm the middle of the yin and yang. I'm the void. I'm,
You're
the nothingness.
The Wuji, yeah.
I am. Is that what that's called?
I think it is.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
You know what? People listening to this, you got Google.
Yeah, go look it up.
Google fucking Wuji. We'll
Yeah.
have all things for you. Well, what kinds of things for you to look up?
Yes.
Right.
Like spump.
Spump. Yeah,
Spunping
Yeah.
might
Oh,
happen.
we
It's
have
a
to get to
thing.
that.
There's gonna be some spumperoni and cheese
That is a
going
thing.
on.
Google it.
But
Just grab a pen.
I
Start
think
writing it.
my reason for being here is just because our whole lives we've sat around just talking about bullshit. We're not like cousins that just like see each other on holidays like a lot of families. We see each other all the time, especially now that we're all out of school.
Yeah,
we
like, I
see
mean,
each other
Yeah.
multiple times
grew
a
up,
week.
We grew up with each other.
We
like,
all grew up relatively close to each
We
other.
were practically brothers.
We
almost,
were.
You know?
Close.
And so we just we're just like, hey, let's just take all the dumb conversations we have about literally anything and just record it. If someone wants to hear it, they want to hear it. And if you don't want to hear it, why the fuck are you still listening? Like, go listen to something. Go listen to something good. Go listen to a good. If you want to listen to a good podcast, leave. Right? Just get out. Just go away. But if you want to listen to an honest podcast, just three dudes shooting the shit, well, stay right there. And we'll play some smooth jazz. I don't know. Derek, why do you think we're here?
Well, we're not here to play smooth jazz.
What is
I can
best
tell
in
you that.
life? What is...
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit. It's just one of those, the three of us get together and ideas just fly around and conversations are had. And a lot of stupid things get mentioned that we wish so many times, why are we not recording
Exactly,
this?
because we forget. You don't understand. We could do podcasts for 30 years just based on the things we've said in the past decade.
Yeah.
And it's just it's time for it to go into the annals of history.
On the internet.
The annals. It can go in the annals if we're on the internet.
Sure.
It can go wherever we want it to go. But unless anyone had anything to add.
Okay, so I mean, like, to give an example of what we're talking about, like, we'll just go to a restaurant and just have a conversation that just morphs into just, what the hell are we talking about? But it's hilarious.
It goes on a level
And
that none of us expected.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
and we will think back on it and we're like, man, I wish I remember what it was we said, but it was so funny back then.
And sometimes in the middle of the conversation, you have to yell at a cat. Meow. Just a little background. There are 3 cats that only live where we are in the house. They don't go upstairs very often. They sometimes go outside. They're here, and they're very, very let me hang out with you cats. So there will be cats on this podcast. Our producer's a cat, actually. She doesn't do her
That was
job
our
very-
executive producer.
That was our
just now.
executive producer trying to erase the whiteboard with our weak stuff on it because she did not approve. She was offended by something.
There's also 5 dogs upstairs that I'm sure will make an appearance
hear them.
at some point.
Yes, and if they do, I will demonstrate why I firmly support the Second Amendment because sometimes dogs need to shut the fuck up. But
Well, you know.
you never know. But yeah, I don't know. No dead air, guys. We gotta keep talking. You gotta push the ideas.
That's what editing's for.
No, I'm not gonna edit shit. Everything
Everything
say
is how it is.
going on this podcast.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well,
I think it's a pretty good intro. I
not
think
bad.
we're good.
I think that
we're
was a
gonna
decent
erase
start,
it and
yeah.
start over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good warm up.
It was a
right,
good
guys?
first take.
I didn't even hit record. I was just.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna double check real quick. No, I can tell there's a time code
Yeah.
right there. We're recording.
We've been here for 9 minutes.
We've been here for hey, a little intro
I
for our
would say
listeners.
9 minutes is pretty good.
We
you know?
That's
never.
way
here's-
too long.
Here's the thing, though. We never introduce ourselves again.
That's good.
They know
yeah.
who we are. We'll just begin it and say, hey, Grump. We're Game Grumps. No, that's the wrong thing. I'm blah and you're blah.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, we're here to we're gonna talk about movies. We're talking about news, politics. Hopefully nothing gets too heated when we talk about that stuff. Weird stuff we're thinking about, just whatever. Basically, it's gonna be kind of stream of consciousness. Just we have a few things written down, but if something pops in, we're just gonna go with it. And so let's just jump right in. Last night, we went and saw Marvel's newest money grab. Film, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Electric Boogaloo, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
The three of us, along with my fiance Sarah, who, if you're watching this on YouTube, she did the little art that should be in your little view box right now, and it's adorable. We appreciate it very much. And she says she wants to do new ones every time, so let us know what you think about that, or if you want to see something funny. But anyway, we went and saw that, and what'd you guys think? What'd you think of it? Both as a comic book movie and just as a movie, I guess.
Okay, so I liked this movie. I thought there was a lot of funny moments in the movie, and it was overall, it had good character development, I thought.
Yeah. Before you go any further, let me just remind everyone,
there will be some
there
spoilers,
are spoilers.
probably,
If
so.
you want a spoiler-free thing, you might want to skip, because we're just going to talk about the movie.
I mean, yeah, so
Yeah.
at this
if
point,
you didn't see it opening weekend, you're a loser. So,
Right.
anyway, continue.
So, I mean, you guys agree. I mean, there were some genuinely good, funny moments in the movie. Everyone
Yeah.
I thought the humor
would
was
laugh
great.
free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I liked it. There
You
weren't
know-
any jokes. Even, they made a poop joke, and I wasn't like, oh, gallows.
No, it was,
potty humor, and I thought it was funny.
it was a feel good movie, just like the last movie. It's it's not the most it's not the most serious comic book movie you've ever seen. It's certainly more of a lighthearted film, but I enjoyed it. I really did.
I will go on record saying I like the fact, like you said, that it's not a dark and serious
Right.
superhero movie, because Marvel has proven it really has been proven with Guardians. That's what's
Yes.
really started. And then you can see like trailers for Thor Ragnarok, which I'm going to get into in a little bit because I am super pumped for that movie.
Yep.
Mhm.
But they've shown that like comic movies can be silly and funny, still be good. Like the very nature of a comic book is silly. It's people in colored costumes running around punching people in other brightly colored costumes with all these crazy superpowers and weird names. Like there's a talking tree and a raccoon, and that's just Guardians. All this silly stuff. There's a green man
Right.
and a green woman.
Right.
And just a dude with guns and like a guy that whistles and arrows fly around. Like comic books are by their very nature silly. The movie can be silly, and they've proven that that's okay.
Yeah, and I would agree because of Deadpool.
Oh, right.
That
Deadpool-
one
Yeah.
was one of my favorites that they
Deadpool
made.
shows you can be silly and R-rated and
Yes,
still be
and
good.
it's still amazing.
They've proven that an R-rated superhero movie that works. That has
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
And like, what were some of your? I think one of my favorite bits. I really like the fact that in this movie, Star-Lord didn't get a lot of character stuff, mainly because it was more the movie was about him.
Mhm.
For those of you that don't
Right.
know, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is basically the premise is Star-Lord meets his dad, Ego, who for those who remember Marvel Comics is Ego the Living Planet, played by Kurt Russell, and he is a living planet, but there's a little Kurt Russell that runs around with them, and that's like a representation
Like
of
an
his
avatar.
will. It's like exactly like
Yeah.
an avatar
Right.
he made. So he gets some like family development, but like the whole movie's a backdrop. The whole backdrop is about him. So I like how they're able to focus on the other character. Like they did so much with Drax.
Yes.
Yes.
And
they,
for those
they
who-
really made him. They gave him an interesting scene with Mantis where
Mm-hmm.
she,
That's the
she's-
girl with
yeah,
the two head tentacles in
Right.
the trailer. She can like
the
read thoughts. and-
empath.
The
Yeah.
empath. She reads feelings.
Right.
and calls he calls her ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sweet though, because he said
was.
if someone
it's a good
loves
thing.
you and you're ugly, love you for who you are. And I was talking with Sarah last night, and I was saying that could be a potential romantic subplot, and she had a good point that it's actually a father-daughter relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because he loved her, but he also had a kid who he also lost. And when I was looking back, I realized he does treat Mantis like a daughter,
Yeah.
and I think that
Right.
was really cool. But I like what they did with Drax. But what I really like is how much of a badass they made Yondu
Right.
with
yeah.
his
Yeah.
fin.
So
They
good.
made Yondu amazing. Like in the
Right.
first movie, Yondu was one of my favorite parts because he's just kind of this rednecky, like he's a redneck cowboy in space basically,
Mhm.
and it's awesome. And he whistles and arrows and shit. If you guys liked in the Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where he was killing like Kree soldiers with his arrow after his ship crash lands, you're gonna love the arrow scene in this one because it ramps that up to infinity.
Yeah, definitely.
I was impressed because in the first movie, I saw Yondu and I didn't know what to make of him. He was kind of like just there, along for the ride kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then in this movie, it really made me care about who he was.
Oh yeah. And
I legitimately was upset of
Big-
how his character ended up.
I'll say that as a big spoiler for those who haven't seen it. Definitely tune out right
Right.
now. Yondu dies.
You
And a heroic sacrifice.
Yondu dies in
Yes.
an amazing heroic
was great.
sacrifice, which affected everyone. Because even Rocket made friends with him in this movie. Because you find out they're very similar characters.
That's my favorite scene in this movie, actually.
Where him and Rocket
is
are
the
talking.
Yondu and Rocket
right.
scene.
You know what I
It's a
noticed?
powerful scene.
I was looking back, and there's a scene where Peter and Yondu are still inside Ego's core, and the rest of them are getting on the ship, and Gamora is about to go get
Yeah.
Peter,
Yeah.
and Rocket shocks her and says, "I'm not losing another friend today." And I was thinking, like, oh, because he thinks Peter's going to die. I think it's because he knew Yondu was going to die.
Yeah.
Because before he left, he gave him one, like, spaceship and, like, one jetpack or space suit and one
Right,
jetpack or something.
right.
He knew what Yondu
And he said,
would
like,
do.
he knew what Yondu was going to do, so he knew Star-Lord was going to live.
Right.
He was referring to the fact that he knew Yondu was going to sacrifice himself.
Right.
And that was amazing. Like, Bradley Cooper just sits in a voice booth voicing an animated raccoon, and he's like one of the most emotional parts of the movie, even though you really didn't see much of Rocket in this movie in terms of development. Like, he had those couple scenes with Yondu, but he also got a lot in the first one.
Yeah.
In the first one, they really, because you kind of have to explain Rocket more than the other characters, because the rest are just like, oh, we're humans, but we're different colors.
Right.
And Groot just says, I am Groot. There's not much to know about him.
This
But
one's-
Rocket, you have to explore
it's
Rocket.
a raccoon that walks around and talks.
He's the most out of place. Speaking of Groot, by the way, I thought in previews and toys and stuff, Groot was going to be like a big, here's our toy money focus.
Right.
It wasn't like that at all. Groot was great.
Yeah.
Any scene with Bab Groot, it was just, he acted like a baby. I thought it was going to be little Groot.
Right.
And he was just, I'm little Groot. And no, he was an infant
Yeah.
and
yeah.
acted like an infant. And any scene he's in, it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
But they didn't overdo it either.
No,
which-
they didn't.
based
No,
on-
That's
they
what I was
didn't.
afraid
Based
of.
on the ads, you think it was overdone. But
Because that's how they got you.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah.
baby Groot, he's cute. Come see our little. They even had a scene that I would say spoofed it, where the Ravagers, through a series of events, basically betray the Guardians and Yondu and stuff, and they make baby Groot their mascot, and gather around him chanting mascot and basically taunting him, and he walks away all sad because they poured booze on him and like torture him and stuff. And I thought that was almost like making fun of the fact that you could see Baby Groot becoming like this huge, overbearing mascot, and he's not. They didn't do that at all.
Right.
He was just another member of the team who, throws up.
Another good scene was trying to get Groot to get the Mohawk.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
That was
Yondu
so...
and Rocket are in a prison,
Yes.
and he needs a new fin, because Yondu's smaller fin gets destroyed. And so he needs a new one so they can break out. And he came back with, like...
The eye.
he came back with like a
Everything.
fake eye, a desk. Like
Yeah.
they said it's in the desk. He brought back an entire desk.
He had a toe.
He had a severed toe.
severed
He had
toe.
someone's
Just-
toe.
Which, okay, that was they never did reference it though. They should have had
No.
someone later on. I was
No one,
expecting it.
no one was saying, "Where's
Yeah.
my toe?"
How did no one wake up?
Yeah.
That's just true. No one.
should've
Yeah. How did
happened.
he
How
get
did
the
no
toe?
one
It
wake
was so
up?
clean.
Yeah.
It was just like surgical cut, but then he got, and yeah, it was all good. And then there were a lot of nods. The Stan Lee's cameo, for those of you that care about like stuff that hasn't shown up in Marvel movies yet. Stan Lee's cameo. He's an astronaut talking to a group of people called the Watchers. And if you know what the Watchers are, or if you don't, they're a group of beings, ancient beings, whose job is to watch and record events all around the cosmos. But they're forbidden from interfering. Their job is simply, as the name implies, to watch. And so Stan Lee is there talking to these Watchers about all the stuff he's seen on Earth, and it's heavily implied based on his lines. I won't say them word for word. That every Stan Lee cameo in the Marvel movies has been the same being or something like that. But I thought that had huge implications.
Because he made mention of being a FedEx guy.
He made mention of being a FedEx guy, which
Avengers
Civil
2.
War, yeah, that's how he was. There was a Tony Stank scene at the end of the movie, and they're pretty much referencing that.
Right.
But and then there was, Sylvester Stallone was in it, and he takes part, or he's a character from pre-existing comics. And then at the end, for those of you that really like Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, you do get a hint of Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of their name on top of my head, but the gold-faced people
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
had the business with in the beginning, they're mad because the Guardians did all this stuff to mess them up and just make them mad and wipe out their fleet.
I thought that was a really fun touch to the movie too, where it's like almost an arcade game that they all
Exactly. It has like
play.
the sounds
Like,
and like they're
they're
flying
all-
their ships.
they're
all
all
these
playing
people
this
fly,
simulation.
They
They're
fly
a
their
perfect
ships
race
remotely.
of
Right.
people that
Yes.
are, every bit perfect. And so, how do you entertain yourself? Oh, you just get spaceships.
You get spaceship.
That are
Your
video
Right.
games to you.
your
and you just
remote
kill people
control
with
your
them.
warships, and and then like when there's one left, they're all gathered
Oh,
around him,
yeah.
like the guy getting a high score in DDR or
Right,
something.
right.
And then when he loses, they're like, he sucks, and all this stuff. And then yes, Adam Warlock's gonna be there, guys, which brings about the question: there's only one Infinity Stone we haven't seen yet. Branching out from Guardians to the rest of Marvel, there's one Infinity Stone we haven't seen yet. That's the Soul Stone.
And it has to be in something that starts with an H.
Now, comic-wise, it's Adam Warlock possesses the Soul Stone, or Soul Gem, whatever you want to call it. So are they going to do that?
Possibly.
Are they going to go elsewhere? Because if they do go that route, we won't see Adam Warlock till Guardians 3, and that's after Infinity War.
Right.
And in terms of build-up, because like in about a year's time, Infinity War.
Right.
And
May of 18, right?
Yeah, it's in a year. We get Infinity War Part 1. And between now and then, we have Spider-Man, Black Panther, or we have Spider-Man, Thor, Black Panther, if you want to go in order.
Right.
So those are the only movies we have to potentially, unless they're going to do it between 1 and 2 for Infinity War.
Yeah.
Who knows? Because the only thing we have between those, I believe, is or Captain Marvel.
Right.
It's Miss Marvel, but then she took on the mantle of Captain Marvel because these be two different things. But Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, same thing.
Because that's right before Part 2, right?
Yeah, it's going to be Part 1, and then Captain Marvel, and then actually May 2019. So they might squeeze something in.
I think there's more. At least there
I think
was.
they're
They
gonna-
changed.
I think they're going to have
the
to put in
original
more
Phase
because
3,
it's going to be Infinity War Part 1, May 2018, and then Captain Marvel, then nothing until May 2019.
Right.
I think is how they're doing it. But they got to put that last stone in there somewhere, unless it's going to be somewhere in Thor Ragnarok.
I don't know.
Or possibly, I mean, I guess they could do it in Black Panther. I don't really know how they would do it in Black Panther. Like what they would, because the villain is not a Soul Stone type guy, or even an Infinity Stone type guy. But I'm not sure. I don't know what they should do. It should be
hard to say.
I've read a theory. Heimdall from Thor, the one who can see everything, Idris Elba's character. There's a theory that his eyes are the Soul Stone.
I've read a similar thing. Like the actual piece in his chest is the stone itself, and that's how he's able to see.
Because Heimdall, he doesn't
out into the abyss.
They don't really explain his powers in the movie. Right. He could just be seeing the souls of people.
And
that's how he checks.
I believe there's actually even mention of he sees the souls.
Oh, did they?
I think it's in the first Thor.
Okay, well that would make even more sense.
Something soul mentioning.
And his eyes are orangey.
And there's also I think it was Avengers 2 when Thor's being entranced, whatever, by the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
And he's noticing Heimdall, and his eyes are different.
Oh, you're right.
They're
I forgot all about
shaded
that scene where
a
they're
different
hallucinating.
color. And he goes, Heimdall, what's with your eyes?
Gotcha.
So
it's possible because Odin already had.
There could be.
Odin, what Infinity Stones does Odin have? Were there any that were home to Asgard? I mean, the Tesseract is back there.
Yeah.
The Ether.
Yeah,
the
Ether was kind
within their realm.
Yeah, that was made mention.
So I mean, there's Infinity Stones around there. It's not completely unfounded that Odin could have just said, Heimdall, I trust you with this gem. You're one of my strongest and most loyal servants. So I want you to look out and maybe keep your eye on the other stones, and that's why he has it. I think that'd be really cool. If Heimdall had
I wouldn't be opposed to that, just because Heimdall is a very interesting character.
He is, and if you look in the trailer for Thor Ragnarok, they show Heimdall for a brief. It's like a blink and you miss it of Heimdall. He swings a sword and kills somebody like in a forest, and he's not in his full armor. He looks ragged, like he's on the run. Maybe he's on the run from someone trying to get the stone from him.
Maybe,
or something like that. Speaking of that, though, we've already done 20. We just hit 24 minutes.
Wow,
that's insane. So we'll wrap this up in a bit because we have one more thing we want to do before we break. But I just want to talk real quick of how incredibly hyped I am about Thor Ragnarok.
Oh.
Like,
I can't wait.
For some reason, I'm more looking forward to this than movies like Doctor Strange, which star my favorite superheroes. Like, I like Thor, but he's not like, I don't even think he's in my top 5.
Yeah.
But man, this movie looks awesome. It just looks 80s and cheesy and colorful. And it's just like the trailer's great. And I've said this a million times, and I don't care. I think, wow, I just forgot the actress's name, but Hela.
Right.
I don't care, man. I hope she stays alive forever. I think she is hot as fuck. I really do. I don't know why, but I
Right.
just do. I can't think of her name now. She played Lady Galadriel.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett. There you go. Galadriel from Lord of the Rings. For a bit of trivia there, that is her. It's the same actress. She looked completely
Right.
different in this movie.
I know. I was amazed when I looked up the
It's like,
cast and
that-
it's Kate. But I'm like, wow.
Well, when they first showed images on Entertainment Weekly and it showed like 3 characters, it said a little thing pointer. It says, yes, that's Kate Blanchett. Like, because no one would believe it's her.
Right.
What do you think about Ragnarok, Bella?
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't watched any of the other Thor movies, so I really don't know much
You should just to
about the story.
have them.
Maybe I should sometime.
I
just
think
go
the
back and
first
watch
one was a
them.
fine origin story.
Yeah.
It introduced Thor and it introduced everyone. I thought it was good. 2
It was just 2 was only there for the ether.
really
like,
was there to set
having,
up.
having
that was
watched,
about the only
all the
reason.
Captain Americas, all the Iron Mans, and all the Avengers movies. All I've gotten of Thor is that he is not from Earth, and that Loki is his brother.
You
and
really
they're friends
should.
from other place.
You're not missing
Honestly,
much.
Thor the Dark
Yeah.
World. Thor the Dark World is there because we got Iron Man 3 and we got Winter Soldier. So we also needed a Thor sequel just to keep it balanced and to keep him relevant. But yes, Thor 2, visually I thought it was cool. I like that everybody was back.
Yeah.
They did have some sad scenes like when Thor's mom dies. Spoilers for Bella who
Oh,
hasn't
yeah.
seen it
Well,
yet.
now I've seen the movie, so I
No,
guess.
you've
Yeah.
seen
The
it.
mom that you don't know about is dead.
Yeah,
Alright.
Frigga, the one you
Cool.
know nothing about, she dies. But it was a good movie, but in terms of everything else, yeah, it had the ether, had one of the Infinity Stones. Other than that,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, there's a kind of a neat twist at the end, but Loki was
Oh,
actually
right,
on
Loki.
the throne.
spoilers: Loki posing as Odin at the end of
So,
Thor 2.
so that's the thing. We don't know where Odin is, and haven't known for a long time.
I see.
Where Odin
From what I've
actually
read,
is.
he has been banished to Earth, like Thor was, and that's why Thor at the end of Doctor Strange was talking to
yeah.
Doctor Strange because he's trying to locate Odin. So
Trying-
the theory is that Odin is actually on Earth and he's like a crazed beggar who like forgot who he was and stuff. They would try to find him. But that could also not. That's just what I've read. So that could be something different.
So, having not watched any of the Thor movies, just my speculation as to where the next and the last Infinity Stone is in this Marvel entire canon before we get to Infinity Wars is not going to be in Adam whatever the hell.
Adam Warlock.
Warlock. It's not going to be in him. That movie's coming out after.
Unless they want him to be in a movie that wasn't Guardians 3,
That's-
Right.
which would be very
which
strange.
would be strange
That
if they
would
did
be.
that. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that he's just a character and they're just changing him like they've changed Drax and other characters here
True.
and there. So maybe it's just going to be like that. I'm putting my bets on that. That's probably what's going to happen.
You
They're
think
just going to
so?
save him for the third Guardians movie.
I think he's going to be the villain in Guardians 3 because
He'll be the villain.
Probably,
he was
yeah.
created. They
Yeah.
create him to hunt down the Guardians.
Yeah.
So
in,
that's
in
what
the end of Guardians
likely
2.
happen. And then we'll get some other origin for the Soul Gem. And
I think it'll be in Ragnarok.
I'm still placing my bets on
Maybe.
it being Stanley Kubrick himself.
Stanley
in fact,
Kubrick.
Yes, in
You mean
fact,
Stan Lee?
yes, indeed.
You think Stanley Kubrick? They bring in Stanley Kubrick as a character,
Right.
a completely different
All these
director.
cameos have been
Just,
leading
yeah.
to actually this plot point
Not-
where
Yeah,
he's
Wouldn't be
immortal.
bad, I
Doctor
guess.
Strangelove is actually
Right.
the movie itself, directed by him. That's the Soul Stone.
Yes.
You get the DVD and it goes in the gauntlet. Of course, Stanley Kubrick. I'm not cutting that.
Now, it would be kind of neat if in Ragnarok you have the destruction of Asgard.
Which we will.
And there's almost like, what if the Soul Stone almost gets created? It's not in existence
all the
yet.
souls?
Yeah, exactly. It's a thing of,
Ooh.
it's not in existence yet. It gets created
He
through the
needs what-
destruction of Asgard. It's like
okay.
something makes it.
We'd have to go back to Guardians 1, and when they're talking to the Collector,
Yeah.
did he give a definite number on how many are out there?
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
He said 5 to go.
There's
He said
Oh,
1 down, 5 to go.
So it's sort of implied this. Maybe the Soul Stone gets reformed or something. Like maybe it's
Possibly.
not. Maybe it's not because I mean the
Well, the glove
the-
has the slots.
yeah the ether isn't a stone the whole time. It's a red
It's a
swirling.
substance,
It looks like
yeah.
DNA in like a monolith. Like they don't always look at. Maybe it is something that you have to like
Maybe.
condense or like pull in or
It's never
trap.
destroyed, but it just changes form. kind of thing.
Possibly, and
Yeah.
maybe the destruction of Asgard triggers the creation of the Soul Gem.
Maybe. I don't know.
That would be a really. I think it would be cool if it was in Thor though.
I do too.
I think that's the most likely. I mean, okay, so the
Because
movie's
how
coming-
else are you going to get Thor and Hulk
so
involved in Infinity
here's-
War?
Okay, all the movies coming up between now and Infinity Wars. You've got Spider-Man, Thor, and what's the next
Black
one?
Panther.
And Black Panther. Okay, of those three, I think you're most likely going to have Thor as your Infinity
Yes.
Stone movie. I think Black Panther is most likely a movie to feature possibly. You could have a Tony Stark cameo, maybe. You could maybe have Captain America.
I think Cap will be in because at the end of Civil War, Winter Soldier is in Wakanda.
Yeah.
At the after credit scene, he's being held there.
If anyone's most likely, it would be Cap.
I think Cap is likely to be. I think he actually is. I don't remember now. Someone else is confirmed to be in Black Panther.
I think
I'd be surprised if he wasn't. Honestly.
Yeah.
The fact that the Hulk is in Thor, I think what they're trying to do is these next few movies will set up the plot for Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll start to see it. I think with Thor and with Spider-Man, I think you'll see that come to be. The real question is where will Thanos come in? I think that's probably also Thor 2, actually, though.
I think Thor 2. I think Thor 2, and I said that a second ago. I just didn't go too deep into it. Thor 2 or Thor 3, sorry, Thor Ragnarok kind of has to bring in Thanos because why else would Thor and Hulk even go back to Earth?
Right.
They don't really know what's going on with everything. I mean, Thor wasn't even there during Civil War, so he really doesn't.
Right.
He's really out of the loop. And Hulk is super out of the loop.
Is this taking place during Civil War?
Ragnarok? Oh God,
could that be an explanation why they're not there?
We'd have to see if they drop some sort of timeline thing into it. Right. I'm not sure because I know some movies take place simultaneously. Like I know Doctor Strange, I think took place during Iron Man 2.
Really? Okay.
Except the after credits scene.
Right.
Because Thor was there looking for. Oh, and that was like he's established himself as a sorcerer supreme a few years later or something.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it takes place during Iron Man 2. So some of them take place simultaneously.
Right.
But others don't, obviously. But I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm not sure where Thor Ragnarok is going to take place.
I do like that they're combining Hulk and Thor though, just because the two of them work well together.
Well, they had that rivalry in the other Avengers movies.
Well, I think part of that too is there hasn't really been a good Hulk
they're
movie.
sort of the weaker two franchises.
And they're really in terms of Hulk movies, there hasn't been one starring Mark Ruffalo.
No.
Like we had Hulk, which we don't talk about, and then we had Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, which I thought was a really good movie.
Yes. And it was not bad.
It's technically part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They reference it. I mean, they even had Thunderbolt Ross come back in Civil War, and he was in those. So technically,
I believe Tony Stark at the very end of Incredible Hulk.
You're right. Incredible Hulk is part of the MCU. It just kind of gets forgotten, but we haven't had much with Mark Ruffalo.
No.
So I'm glad. And the fact that those two need a place to just swing.
Yeah.
Like everything. It's the same problem Superman has in a lot of movies. Like they just can't let loose.
Right.
But if you put him and Hulk on these alien worlds where there are things that are just as strong or stronger,
right,
you can let loose and you don't think they're going to destroy the world just by having a little tussle.
No.
Like it's going to be great is what it's going to be. I can't believe we're at 32 minutes. That's
impressive.
Crazy. We're not going to be counting time as we get better at this. We're just amazed,
right?
Because it's the first time we've done this.
Hopefully,
we
just cut these out, maybe.
Hey, let them hear us speculate and talk about all this crap. We'll see what happens. But what we want to do is, we want to be pretty freeform and just talk about what comes to our mind. But we also want to do some things we think would be fun to do every week, and just because you need some sort of skeleton on which to build your show,
right?
So one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna have me try beer.
Yeah.
Now that might sound really boring to you guys, but you need some context. I despise beer in all its forms.
Every single beer I've seen him try,
I have not tried a beer that I have liked. I think it tastes like grinded up sewer water and bread. I think it's gross. I don't understand the appeal. I enjoy rum and cider. Those are my two big things. I'm a big rum guy. I'm a huge cider guy because it tastes like apple juice. It's good. I feel like a little baby drinking it. So without further ado, I'm going to try this week's beer. Is it just...
Yeah, it's right there in the mini fridge.
All right.
Yeah, crack them open.
Talk me up.
So this week, the idea was we weren't sure if we wanted to get something exotic or if we wanted to get something that everyone's had. Yes, it's Twist Top. So what we've decided, is to get something that everybody has had just to give reference to how much he hates beer. So Seth, what are you drinking right now?
Well, first for a bit of context, I don't know if we said this in the beginning, but we are, without at the risk of being too specific, we're in the St. Louis area.
Yeah.
Where we are one of the surrounding, we're kind of a suburb of St. Louis, but farther out. I think we're technically a suburb of St. Louis.
Yeah.
We're just like half an hour out. But so one of the biggest things, for those who know anything about St. Louis, is Bud. Bud
Budweiser Brewery.
InBev, whatever
Yeah.
it is now. That's like a tradition. When you drive on, I think, 64 going anywhere, there's that giant antique neon sign where the eagle flaps its wings because America and beer and all that shit.
Right, right.
So I am kicking this off with an ice cold Bud Light.
Yep.
So we're gonna do it based on three things: smell, taste, and texture. And aftertaste. We're gonna do four different things. So
we're gonna make this
we're
real.
gonna start with the smell. I want to get right in the mic. Let me smell it. I'm gonna like swirl it like a wine snob,
Right.
and then.
Do you want to get you a glass?
No. I don't want to see it. I think that might make it worse if I have to see the color.
You see the color of it?
I have a. I'm so much of a pussy. I need a chaser after drinking beer. Just get a taste on it. So I got some Mountain Dew that I got while I ate dinner
a chaser
at
for
Panera
beer.
Bread. I'm not shilling Panera Bread, but I will let you know that for all you call it Panera Bread, you're wrong. It's St. Louis Bread Company. It says it on my cup. So it's St. Louis Bread Co., you assholes. So the smell, I'm getting hints of bullshit, dirty water. It smells like after it rains during the fall, and there's like dirty, dead leaves all over the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
If you and it rained, you went into a puddle. And it was just like dirt and leaves, and I snorted that puddle.
All right.
That's what this smells like.
Okay.
It smells like gross autumn, not like crisp, not like crisp, wonderful, crunchy. This smells like wet, gross.
So like
There's
a
no leaves
fungi
on the tree.
almost.
It pretty much
kind of
it
smell.
smells like wet athlete's foot.
Oh,
Let's be real.
all right.
So
Okay.
here goes the taste. Ready? I'm gonna take a big old drink.
Oh yeah.
Don't throw up.
Got a nice swish.
Okay, so texture. If you got a Frosty from Wendy's and let it melt. So it's thick but airy and not in a good way. It kind of tastes like you got some foam wet.
Okay.
And I started drinking just wet foam. Let me do another one just to make sure.
Just like some padding foam.
Yeah. Oh, that one was even worse. That one wasn't even as foamy. I mean, I'll admit it goes down smooth. Like it's not a rough beverage.
Right.
I'm starting to think it's not that bad. No, it's bad. It doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
Like the initial taste, the problem is the aftertaste. It tastes like bad tap water. Like if you went to Flint, Michigan and got me some tap water, that's what I imagine this tastes like. And if you're in Flint, Michigan and you're listening to this, don't you have something better to be doing right now? Anyway, I love you, Flint. I hope your water gets better because I bet it tastes like this. This might actually be better. We should just send them Bud Light.
Maybe.
And by comparison,
doing them a
sits
favor.
in my stomach weird. I just had like 3 drinks.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's just gross. It tastes like yard work.
3 drinks. He's had 3 sips.
I've had 3 sips. That constitutes a drink.
3 drinks.
I have imbibed this liquid 3 times from the bottle. And like I think I just finished the neck.
Yeah, we're at the bottom of the
I'm
neck.
at the bottom of the neck, and I can't go on.
Just drink it.
I'm not gonna just drink it. It's terrible. It tastes like medicine.
I don't think you need a 5th category. What is the hangover like? That's
I've
why
never had a beer
Bud-
hangover because I don't drink beer.
Bud Light is
I can't
it's
drink enough beer to get a hangover.
as you would imply. Bud Light is the lighter of the beers.
Could have fooled me.
So when you actually have a hangover from it, it's not as bad as a thicker like lager beer.
I just can't wait for people to go in the comments be like, "You're such a pussy, not drinking beer. You gonna drink a Bud Light, you pussy? Why don't you drink a real?" Shut up. First of all, I don't need your judgment. I get a judgment when I go to bars and stuff, and I'm just like, "Do you serve any ciders here? I don't like beer." And they're like, "Yeah, we got Strongbow." I'm just like, "1, please." And then I sit here and drink apple juice.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fucking fancy man living in the big city. But yeah, if I were to get, I'm gonna do this on a 0 to 10 spump rating.
Okay.
That's gonna be our rating system, spumps.
All right.
This wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
When people try to get crafty with me,
Yeah.
and by crafty I mean like just like fancy beer. It's like this one was brewed in a whiskey keg with chocolate shavings and bits of rosemary. That's when I think it tastes even worse.
Right.
This is just a basic beer. There's not much here that offended my senses.
That's about as basic a beer as you're gonna get.
That being said, you can put rosemary and chocolate shavings on shit, or just give me straight shit. It tastes like shit either way. So this tastes like ass. But the fact that it wasn't very offensive to my senses, it did go down smooth. I will give this 5.5 spumps
Oh, okay.
out of 10.
Giving some room
And
for the really bad
I think
stuff.
that's gonna be
Might be
the
peak.
best one. I
That
don't
might
think
be
we're
the
gonna
peak.
hit 6. You might hit like a 5.6 if I'm being generous, but 5.5 spumps.
Right.
We're gonna take a quick break, give y'all a chance to rest up. We'll be back with part 2 in just a minute.